And Flexport Incorporating executives Teresa Carlson and Darcy Henry are leaving the company, both hired during the tenure of Chief Executive Officer Dave Clark, who unexpectedly departed on Wednesday, that the person familiar with the matter said. Carlson was hired at the start of this year as President and Chief Commercial Officer for the logistics startup. Henry joined in October 2022 as Chief Human Resources Officer. Both had previously worked at Amazon.com and Courage, where Clark spent much of his career before joining Flexport in September 2022. And while Clark said he resigned, the person said Flexport's board voted to oust him and bring back founder Ryan Peterson to be CEO. And the exits by Clark's lieutenants are continuing, and more departures are possible, according to the person who asked not to be identified, discussing internal company details. Some of them clash with Flexport's entrepreneurial culture and focus on prioritizing customer relations, the person said. Flexport is one of the country's most prominent startups, having raised more than $2 billion in funding and notching a valuation of $8 billion. Earlier this year, Flexport say it would cut 20% of its staff, which consisted of about 3,000 people, according to LinkedIn. But the company also is beefing up its engineering team by hiring 300 to 400 software programmers to help speed its digital platform offerings. Would fall short of speaking Tuesday, the day before he left the company. Clark said he expected revenue this year would fall short of the nearly $5 billion that its founder have boasted about reaching last year. A big piece of that gross revenue number is the cost of freight, he said in an interview from his office in Dallas. So even with growth, when the container drops from $20,000 to $2,000, the revenue hit is pretty substantial. The next day, Clark tweeted that he was resigning and that founders have a right to change their mind. That was a reference to Peterson, who subsequently posted, "I'm back," on X, formerly Twitter. Peterson also sent a note to staff that he was returning to run this San Francisco-based company. With more than $1 billion in cash, our fortress balance sheet remains intact, with a multi-billion book of business in more than 100 countries, he said. The episode illustrates the frictions that arise when an old economy industry like shipping, where personal relationships are paramount, shifts into the impersonal business of digital commerce. It also shows that how quickly expectations and relationships can change at high-flying tech startups like Flexport in a boom-bust industry. During the pandemic, the cost of shipping containers increased more than $40,000 to almost 25 unit from Asia to the U.S. West Coast, only to come crashing back below $2,000 this month. And on Thursday, Clark didn't immediately respond to an email request for comment. Clark started at Flexport about a year ago, joining from Amazon, and as recently as Tuesday, he posted on LinkedIn about plans to speak next week in Seattle at a 17 Flexport exclusive launch event. If he was planning to leave Flexport, it wasn't evident that when asked Tuesday whether he was more daunted or more optimistic about where the company is headed. After 11 p.m., I'm more optimistic. I wish the freight market was a little better and cooperating more in the last few months. Yeah, of course, he said, there's so much opportunity to make this better for our customers, and our leadership team has the experience to deliver it, and our technology teams have the skills to deliver it. After his departure on Wednesday, the Wall Street Journal reported that Clark is considering a campaign to become governor of Texas. On Twitter, he posted the story and said, "God bless Texas." Because Bloomberg Beta, the venture capital arm of Bloomberg LP, is an investor in Flexport.